Hey guys, welcome to today's video and welcome on into my beauty stash. This is a video that I got inspiration from and the whole idea from my friend here on YouTube, Smithy Sunny. She did this video where she created her own fall eyeshadow palette. Like if she was gonna have a palette come out, if she was gonna collab with a brand, what shades would she include in this palette? She swatched them all out from lots of indie makeup brands, and I was just so inspired by her video that I wanted to create one of my own. So today we're going to be creating a 12 and 16 pan eyeshadow palette. If I was ever given the opportunity to collab with a brand for maybe a palette that would come out sometime during the fall and winter season, this would be, or these would be the shades that I would definitely want included in the palette. Shades, formulas, all of that good stuff. I've never done a video like this, but I was just so inspired by Smithy's video. Thank you, Smithy, for always giving us really good, unique content. She does amazing swatches. She does really awesome dupe videos for especially like high-end palettes. So I'll have her channel linked in the description box of today's video. That way you can go send her some love and tell her Steff sent you over. If it is your first time here on my channel, I want to say welcome and hello. My name is Steff. This is what I love to do. I love trying new makeup. So you see a lot of new makeup reviews here on my channel. I do multiple looks with eyeshadow palettes. I do makeup ranking videos. We just talk about makeup, which is what we're going to be doing today. And if that sounds great to you and you want to see my videos on pretty much a daily basis, I do tend to upload quite a bit. Do me a favor, click on the subscribe button, hit the bell next to it. That way you'll be notified every time I do drop a new video. And if you like what you see, if you have fun just listening to people talk about makeup, playing with makeup, give this video a thumbs up before you go. I did film this look today. I even have a little Halloween t-shirt going on. I'll put the t-shirt, the link to the t-shirt and the makeup look will be on my Instagram reels, and it will be over here as a YouTube short. You guys will probably see the video on the look go up before you're watching this actual video, so stay tuned for that. I want to mention that I used two of the latest Halloween palettes. I used the Gourmand Girls and Doodles by the Bunny collaboration Spook palette, and I used the Bella Beauty Bar Strange and Unusual palette. So you guys be on the lookout for this. It will be a YouTube short, and it will be over there on my Instagram as an Instagram reel. Let's get started with this video. I'm gonna take you over here to the side of my filming room, and we're just gonna do some swatches. We're gonna swatch these palettes out. I'm gonna have quite a few palettes that I'll be pulling shades from, and I'm not going to physically be pulling the shades. I'm just going to be swatching them on my arm, but I'm going to do 12 and then I'm going to take it up to 16. I'm really excited for this video. I hope you guys are too. So if you guys want to see what my palette would look like, 12 pan and 16 pan for the fall and winter season, keep on watching. All right, guys, so for the first palette, I chose In the Dark from Unearthly Cosmetics. I have the old packaging that still says Alien, but I always thought that this was such a unique palette, and I remember when I first got it and tried it out, I was really intimidated by this palette because of the color story, but it really is a beautiful, grungy, winter color story. And the shade that I'm choosing is this one right here called Obscure. These mattes are so buttery smooth. So I'm going to start down here. Now this is going to be the 12 pan palette. So there is Obscure from Unearthly. Now we're going to move into Juvias Place, and this is the Olori Volume 1 palette. I think this is a beautiful little 6-pan palette, and the shade that I'm choosing, it doesn't have a name, but it's going to be this orange shade right here. I guess for the sake of this video, we could call this shade Pumpkin. Juvias Place released 3 Olori palettes. I have them all and I love them. Eye in frame, yes. Hopefully I swatched in frame too. Next, I pulled out the Rose Quartz palette from Huda Beauty. This was her holiday release for 2021. This was a beautiful palette, and I almost didn't pick it up, but I'm so glad I did because this is amazing. I think this could be one of her best palettes yet. The shade that I chose is this one right here called Blissful. She had a lot of good formulas in this palette. I don't know how I feel about her upcoming Empowered palette that is going to be the release for holiday 2022. I'm still on the fence, but this Blissful shade in Rose Quartz, stunning. Now guys, if you hear some loud booms in the background, it is getting ready to rain. There's lots of thunder. The next shade is going to come to us from the Blend Bunny Primal palette. This was my second Blend Bunny palette, and this is a beautiful rainbow palette. I love how it goes from light to medium to deep, and I love the row of shimmer shades and of course the larger matte white and black shades at the bottom. The shade that I chose from this palette is Camouflage. You guys know I love a good green. I think if I could do an all green palette, I probably would, but I wanted to have some different shades in this palette. I didn't want it to all be monochromatic. There we have the first 4 shades. It's coming together, taking shape. Next, we have the Gourmand Girls and Doodles by the Bunny collaboration palette, and this is the Spooked palette. This palette just dropped. As you're watching this video, it hasn't dropped yet. It is dropping in a few hours, but this is the collaboration with Angela, who is Doodles by the Bunny, over on Instagram. This is a beautiful Halloween palette. I hope those of you that order this palette, you love it as much as I do. The shade that I chose from this particular palette is this one right here called Fright. This could very well be one of the best matte shadows that I've ever used, like ever. The matte shades that are in this palette, they pretty much blend themselves. It's just amazing. It's amazing to get this home and just start playing with it. Have fun with it. It's such a fun palette. And I think Christina, who is the owner of Gourmand Girls, and Angela, Doodles by the Bunny, I think they did a fantastic job with this palette. Now we jump into Queen Bee from Colored Rain. You guys know how I feel about these little 6-pan palettes from Colored Rain. I think they are so good, and this Queen Bee palette is definitely one of their best yet. The shade I chose from this palette is this one right here called Mind Your Bee's Nets. So cute. They thought about everything with this entire collection. It's just a beautiful, beautiful collection, and this shimmer shadow has some beautiful shifts to it. Gold and green in there. Just absolutely stunning. Let me get another swatch of it. Love that. I've used the shade in the inner corner. I've used it on the lid. I think it works out great both ways. Perfect. The next shade comes to us from this recent collab palette with Unearthly Cosmetics and Chippo Gray, and this is the Rudo Rawami. I don't know that I'm pronouncing that right. I apologize, but this is Chippo Gray's collaboration with Unearthly Cosmetics. And how beautiful is this color story? Guys, I will say that I have videos, I think, on all of these palettes. So I'm gonna have my eyeshadow palette playlist linked in a pinned comment in case you wanna go through the videos that I have, which are quite a bit. But this one is a more recent video, and the shade that I'm choosing from this palette is this one right here. This shade is called Nayenga. I hope I'm pronouncing that one right too. This is a beautiful yellow shade. I think I got a little too much. But this is such a nice mustard yellow. Am I in frame? Yes, I hope I am. I think I am. Next up, we have the Oracle palette from Bella Beauty Bar. Now, this is a highlighter palette, but this is one of the best highlighter palettes in my stash, like ever. And all of these shades have such beautiful, they're all like duochrome shadows, and they all have such beautiful shifts to them. You don't have to use this as a highlighter palette for the cheekbones. You can use this as an inner corner highlight, a brow bone highlight, whatever you want to do. Use it on your eyelids as well. The shade that I chose from the Oracle palette is this one right here. This one is called High Priestess, and this has like a green shift to it. Those of you that have this palette, you guys can attest to how amazing the formula is. It is just such a good highlighter palette, just palette in general. Next up, we have Danessa Myricks Lightwork Volume 4 Transcendence palette. This is a stunning palette. Beautiful. We have some water activated liners there. We have some of the chrome flakes, and then we have this amazing, I believe it's called the velvet chrome finish. Amazing. Like these shimmers, these duochromes, multichromes are so buttery smooth, unlike anything I think I've ever felt. I definitely wanted to have a shade from this palette in my fictitious palette, and the shade that I chose is called Out of Body, and it is this green shade right here. How gorgeous is that? It's like a foiled green. So smooth. If you picked up this palette, you know that smoothness I'm talking about. Just absolutely beautiful. Next, I pulled the Nomad Whistler Snow Lodge palette. This was a very fun palette to try out. This palette was released at the beginning of 2022, and here are the beautiful shadows in this palette. I love the color story. I love like the cool tone greens and stuff. I think it's just a really pretty representation of what Whistler looks like. The shade that I chose from this palette is this center shade right here called Snowmad. Now this is such a beautiful matte blue. Look at that. And then paired with Out of Body from Danessa Myricks. Even with the yellow over here from Unearthly. Look at my palette. It's taking shape. Now we have two shades left, and one of them comes to us from the Icy palette, the Blue Raspberry Icy palette from Glamlight. This is a all blue eyeshadow palette. I loved it. I think this is a beautiful blue shadow palette. I think that Glamlight just has such an amazing formula, both shimmer and matte. And the shade that I chose from this palette is this one right here called Icicles. All right, so there is Icicles. I think it looks great with Snowmad. Now the last shade comes to us from Sugar Drizzle, and this is the Dragonfly Warrior palette. This is a beautiful color story, one of my favorites from them for sure. And the shade that I chose from this palette is this one right here called Fierce. Really pretty blue duochrome. So here is what my fall palette or fall and winter palette would look like if I ever got the chance to create one. I love good matte shades, and of course I love duo and multi-chrome. I just think this is just such a fun palette. I would love it. Now let me show you what my 16 pan would look like. It's going to include these 12 shadows. I'm just going to add 4 more. All right, so I struggled with, do I include a black, a matte black, or do I include a matte white? I opted for a dark matte gray, and it comes to us from the Unearthly Cosmetics Not Normal palette. And actually, this is more of a dark brown. I think depending on your skin tone, it could go either way, and depending on what looks you use it with. But this is the shade Smoke. I'm gonna go ahead and continue. I know I'm running out of room. So that is Smoke. Again, I think if you pair this with some of the lighter shades, it's just going to take on the undertone. Just thought it was a very versatile shade and something that could come in handy in a palette. The next shade comes to us in this amazingly popular Strange and Unusual palette from Bella Beauty Bar. Guys, this palette has really taken off. I'm so happy for the Bella Beauty Bar team. I loved working with this. I thought that this duochrome multichrome shimmer formula was their best yet. And I know a lot of you are anxiously awaiting the arrival of your palettes. I hope you get them very soon so you can understand what I'm talking about. The shade that I like, that I chose from this palette, is this one right here. This one is called Afterlife. Look at that. An amazing, smooth formula, almost just as smooth as the Danessa Myricks Lightwork Volume 4. That velvet formula that she has. Amazing shade. 2 more shades to go, and the next one comes to us from the Ninhydrin palette from Adept Cosmetics. I could not do this video without including Adept, because Adept has some amazing shimmer shadows. And the one that I chose from this palette is this one right here. This is AC123. Look at that. Foiled it is. Oh, they have such a good formula. Oh, I could just swatch these all day long. And finally, to wrap up this video, to wrap up my 16 pan fictitious fall and winter palette, I'm choosing a purple shade, a purple matte shade from the Glamlight Wine palette. This is also another like monochromatic palette, all about wine. And the shadow that I chose from this palette is Malbec, and it is this one right here. There is that kind of like a mid-tone purple. Love that. I thought that you could just do this like all over the lid and into the crease, and then pair it with one of these beautiful shimmer duochromes. Wow, this is so much fun. I loved doing this. I love this video idea. Again, I got this idea from watching Smithy Sunny here on YouTube. Her channel is linked in the description box. So here it is, guys. Here is what my eyeshadow palette would look like if I was able to create one for fall and winter. What do you guys think? You guys know I did include green. I love doing multi-chromes, blue and purple. It's colorful for sure, but I would feel like this would be an easy palette to work with, easy to create looks with. It was just so much fun doing this. I hope you guys like it. All right, guys, so here is my dream palette. Here is the palette that I could very well see myself creating if I ever got the opportunity for fall winter, a fall winter palette. I think definitely for spring and summer I would maybe choose similar shadows, but definitely brighten them up. Lime green shimmer, all day, every day. But I love doing this type of video. I thought this was so much fun. I love swatching for you guys a little bit up close, and I'm still working on my filming setup, so just bear with me. But I just had so much fun. I had so much fun. I think this was a great idea. Thank you, Smithy Sunny, for inspiring us, inspiring me to create this video and to create my own eyeshadow palette. I've never done anything like this before, and it was fun. It was fun to think of all the possibilities. Let me know what you thought of my dream palette. Instead of Natasha Denona's my dream palette, this is my dream palette. What shades would you include? What shades would you not have included? Would you use some of the brands and the formulas that I chose? Sound off in the comments down below. I want to thank you guys so much for watching another one of my videos. You all have a great day or night, wherever it is you all are at. Stay hydrated, guys. Drink your water. Cheers. I'll see y'all very soon. Bye.